We've been battered around. I see so many plotting around. Eh. Just we keep we down, still them can't take we crown. Eh. Rise up, children of the sun belt. From we organize and centralize, Babylon melt. For too long they been lynching and pinching, confusing, convincing. While them a rob out African wealth. They took our diamonds, they took our gold. But one thing them can't take is we soul. For all of the pain and the struggling involved, our glory must be in. Here we've been scattered around, eh? We've been Rastafari, Mother Earth, Italo Scarcha representing the nation, ancestors surround with.
I'm Esther Akinawa, and here we are in Parliament Square for the Reparations March. Reparations is usually considered to be something of the past, but as you can see here, it's still an ongoing issue.
Reparation is about the people who took my four parents against their will, acknowledging the wrong they've done, acknowledging the fact that their actions has affected and continues to affect myself, my children, my children's children, all my African brethren and sisters. Reparation is about addressing that very, very important issue. As a people, we live with a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of confusion. We are the most numbers in the prisons, in the mental hospitals, in poverty. That is because the wrongs that have been done against us has never been addressed. Because it's never been addressed, we live with it daily, and it actually influences how we deal with each other. It causes self-loathing within us. The fact that we know that such a terrible wrong's been done to our race and no one's been accountable must have an effect on us. Must. It's natural. So reparations is about addressing those issues. It's about putting things in place that will enable the African race to be on a level playing field with everyone else. Economically, we've been hit. We've been placed at the bottom of the barrel. Places like Jamaica, Barbados and the Caribbean, our forefathers worked their fingers to the bone, literally, to build this economy that you see around here. And yet, we as a race, we have nothing.
But what this reparation and liberation mean to I and I is for get back what them take away from we, which is very significant. It's not just money. In fact, we're not even talking about money. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? Then put Africa in a debt, right? Africa is in debt to the world. Africa can be in debt to no one. The whole world get rich off of the blood of Africa, off of the resources of Africa, right? There is no business that come forward in the 20th century that didn't build from slavery.
The reparation is the repairing the damage, that was done to Africa. It's not only money alone, it's repairing all the damage, the people. There's a lot of people in the West that would like to be returned home to Africa that don't have the money to buy airfare to go home. In that way, we agitate for the repatriation and reparation. It's repairing the damage that was done to our country, Africa, for those at home and us abroad.
There's been so many debates, so much controversy surrounding this issue. Do you think we'll achieve it finally?
Well, I think we could achieve it, First, we need to start the damage that was done to the Rastafari brethren and sisters that were the ones that were up in the forefront advocating for this when people thought we were derelict and mad. We've been a lot of atrocities over the years. A lot of Rasta men and women have been killed over this vibe throughout the Caribbean. Dominica had the dreadlock, Jamaica. So the damage first has to be repaired to the Rasta man within the communities. Then we can move on from there. So it is achievable, because if you look around today, you can see the different groups that have gathered to, bring forth, express themselves. If we keep saying it's in the past, we would still be working underneath a colonial government, imperial government, which would be a hold down for the black world of people. So it is something we must get. It's not, we're not begging for it, we're demanding, international repatriation and with reparation and compensation to our heavenly home Africa,
Galaxy Radio, the only de-brainwashing station. And we are here. This is reparation. We have to repair the damage. But first we have to repair our mind. It's how we deal with one another as African people. And we may be born here in England, but we are not Englishmen. They said a dog that born in our oven is not a biscuit. We are African people. And we must start to respect one another. Yeah? And if we start to respect one another, we can repair the damage. And I hope today will bring us more closer together, those in the diaspora and those in the continent and those on the island. Because we can't give up a continent for an island. We are African people and we shall win. A share.
We have never been allowed to express what has happened. Every time you talk about it, you have a chip on your shoulder. You need to get over it. It's in the past. But they're prosecuting people for crimes that they have done when they have passed away, no longer physically here. They're still prosecuting them, you know, for crimes that they have done. The Savills of the world and all the rest of them, they're getting prosecuted although they are dead. So it shows that it matters. The fact that the person has gone, the pain is still living on. You know, it matters. It matters. It matters today as much as it did yesterday.
Reparation is bringing back all that is ours together in one. If we forget our mother, who is our past, how can we go forward? History is our mother. History teaches us everything, but here they don't teach us everything. Even in Africa, the Africans in Africa don't even know what happened to us here in the diaspora. What my brothers and sisters have done. He's from Nigeria, she's from Ghana, me I'm from Jamaica. We're all here in London, standing right here at Windrush Square. So we give thanks and praise that we're coming back together.
The reparation system is about the mental first, the mental and the psychological damage. This is the main part. So we have to re-establish our identity, our history, and be recognized as a proper individual. And that had to be dealt with through government, through official announcement. It's not something that a person, it's that the government, colonial governments, they have to apologize officially.
To let us each other know that we are here for each other. We are not meant to be divided, and we need to repair ourselves by understanding our history from the root to be able to know how we're supposed to be today.
Africa today is still suffering from the slave issue. Yeah? So that's why we're here, you know, to highlight all of this and to remind them that we, the descendants of the slave, yeah, we have not forgotten, yeah, and we want justice.
It would be wrong for us to not really deal with this issue. So, as you don't know, we're looking to get 100,000 signatures. Once we get 100,000 signatures and give it to the House of Commons or Parliament or wherever they are, then they have to deal with the issue. The issue has to go on their agenda and it has to be addressed, yeah? So we're just really starting to get the dialogue going about reparations because it's not something that we've really talked about as a people and come together as a people to get addressed. So this is it now. You know?
Reparation is about things that we've been working for the past 500 years. More than 500 years now, more than about 1,000 years now, for free. And all we work for is nothing. They get all the pay, we do the work. And we make them rich, we poor. So they owe us a lot. Imagine if you work for 500 years and not even a penny. You know how many work you put in and you don't get no pay, and they get all the pay. Our health, strength, build all these European and Western world. What they need to do is to pay up all those what they owe us for over these how much 100 years of slavery. Because they need to pay us. They need to balance. Because they are rich and we are poor. And there are two laws, one for them and one for us.
See what they take from us, we want it back. So how they treat us, we can't tolerate that. You understand? Them treat us some bad way. Even right this minute now, we are here. And they can't wait to get us out of the houses of fartiment, not parliament. And them full of fart. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to your sister? Yes? I ain't disrespecting nobody. It's not about color. It's about attitude and behavior. Yes? We are not animals, we are not dogs. We have been here from foundation. We are the creation from foundation. Yes? We was born as kings, we was born as queens. You understand? So all of this what you see around yourself, how we build this. Them take it from our motherland, make we build all of this, and still a disrespect we eat. And so one thing to know, working hard for weeks and months for my wages, them take the trunk and give me the crumbs. This government that take the people for punk. And when you ask them, I tell us say your credit crunch, I'm just working hard for weeks and months for my wages. Them take the trunk and give me the crumbs.
We are still trying to gather ourselves from what we have gone through such as slavery, such as colonization, and all this has not just come with just physical and mental abuse, but also spiritual, and also through to education as well.
You have to address the problems, and that's how you come to a solution. So if you ignore it and try and move on, it's not going to happen. So we have to address it, and that's how we can all come together and live in harmony.
But we want repatriations, emancipation. We want back what's ours. We want fair shares. We don't want more than anybody else. We want fair shares and for everybody to know themselves.
Reparations is about all pirates, yes, they robbed I. Sold I to the merchant ships, minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. 400-500 years worth of damage to our souls. Yeah, it's a spiritual thing going on here. It's the reparations, as in repairing the damage. In a sense, it's a monetary thing, because if it wasn't for money, you wouldn't have Africans like ourselves creating crime scenes all over the place because of lack of funding. And then you have these that over there, that place that you see, that building over there, Pedo Plaza, and that place over there, another place that's instrumenting pedophilic behavior on our children. And if it wasn't for these thieves, robbers, and pestilences that we call parasites that make our lives so hard, as in they produce cuts on us, introduce austerity measures and all kinds of things to make us feel traumatized and worthless as a people. If it wasn't for that to happen, we wouldn't be committing crime, because we'd have something. White people, and I ain't got nothing against color because I love everyone, know this. White people, they benefit from something called white privilege, and we as Africans, we suffer from it, yeah? And until this imbalance, this inequality has been addressed, we're going to be at it every year. And eventually, we're going to be a voice that's heard. Yeah, we're not going to be overlooked, and we're not going to be because what you have to understand is what these people have done from time immemorial is they've rewritten history and written us out of it. Yeah, and because of that, we are in a place of nowhere. We're displaced in our own land. When I say our own land, God gave this land to everybody so that we can all, as this young woman said, coexist like the animals do. But we don't do that. Even plants, you see different species of flowers, and they're not together, but they coexist in harmony with each other. We must be able to do that on earth as human beings.
The people have now spoken and have laid emphasis on the importance of healing in order to move forward. They have placed their petition to Parliament, and it can no longer be ignored. Other groups of people have received reparations, and yet 500 years later, the Africans are still waiting. I'm Esther Akinawa in Westminster Square.